Hi everyone. I'm sorry that I can't be with you in person in the conference, but thanks to technology, Zoom technology and PowerPoint technology, I can present you my study. Today I want to talk about different technology, the generative AI technology, and I'm referring to generative AI technology as an adaptive actor, not like seemingly objective technologies such as the Zoom or the presentation, the PowerPoint, but as an actor, an active and influential actor. So I'm focusing on how students of content creation study in academia, perceive and integrate artificial intelligence into their study. And also I refer to their lectures that teach and how they teach and perceive the use of generative artificial intelligence. My main focus on generative AI in creation study is because film study, television study, streamed from the focus on study that fundamentally combine human creativity. I see you creative as a human thing with technology. And my goal is to see this technology as an equal actor and define the integration process under a theoretical model that provide conceptual concept for use. Um, as we already heard about generative AI, we see AI as a tool, but I refer to generative AI as an actor because studies have seen that have shown that generative AI is a disruptive technology, not like Zoom, not like the PowerPoint. Disruptive technology is technology that fundamentally change established work method and creates a new paradigm in a field. Um, Studies have shown that students and faculty, we heard all day long that students and faculty integrate generative AI in academic content creation also, screenwriting, and also and creative project. For example, almost 80% of students frequently use Gen AI, particularly ChatGPT, primarily for concept clarification, brainstorming, and writing assistance. Also in the professional world, chat, generative AI transformed film and television workflow from script writing, editing, and design, enable high quality professional content creation with massive investment. So we heard all day about a literature review, and Joseph also mentioned there are a lot of literature review about the student use AI and their instructor, the faculty also. So we can see also in creative programs in higher education, such as design, film, animation, marketing, and communication, students and their teacher actively use generative AI for content creation. Their instructor recognize its value as a creative tool, but express concern about authenticity, skill erosion, and ethical issue. Laura, you mentioned it. For example, student diverse usage in creative programs. They're experimenting generative AI for tasks such as IDEOM, prototyping, generating inspiration, solution exploration, and evaluation of creative output. Also, students use AI as a practical tool for accelerating workflow, increasing productivity, and enhancing creativity. We heard it all day long in previous presentation about it. I also these findings I found these findings also in my research that I will present. But as I mentioned, I want to produce a model, a theoretical model that can help conceptualize it. Also, there are concerns and attitudes towards this Gen AI. Students express caution about over-reliance on AI, worry it could be erode their creative skills. That's another finding that I also found. And regarding the faculty, their lectures, regarding that's another thing that studies have shown, that educators across art and content production acknowledge the narrative AI usefulness as a support for creative tasks, especially in IDEOM and early prototyping phases, but stress the irreplaceable of the human factor. And I will refer to it later. They see that the human factor is very important. They have also concern and attitudes, concern about the student becoming over-reliance on AI, issue of authenticity, academic integrity, copywriting, and privacy. I've said that I refer to generative AI as an actor because my theoretical framework is the theory of ANT, Actor Network Theory of Bruno Latour and others. That means that ANT theory identifies the various actors involved in cultural practice, human and non-human actors, such as technology, technological process that form the basis of social system, and together combining technology or non-human and human also, these actors are tightly interconnected network, a dynamic, symmetrical, that's very important, a symmetrical and heterogeneous system of relationship. Also, this theory refers to symmetrical analysis. Human and non-human actors possess equal agency in social networks. That means that I refer to AI as a symmetrical analysis, such as the human, rejecting traditional subject-object distinction. And also another aspect of this theory is the translation process. Actors continuously negotiate, modify, and transform their interests through network interactions and intermediators. What I've done in my research about my methodology, I use a qualitative research, that this research allowing for a deeper understanding of the integration of this new actor, the Gen AI, among students and lecturers who are engaged in the field of study that incorporates creativity, as I mentioned, as a subjective human process. What I've done is I've conducted this 15 semi-structured interview with undergraduate student of film, television, and visual content creation from academic schools throughout Israel, and also 15 semi-structured interview with lecturers that teach content creation subject at these schools. I analyzed the transcript, the interview transcript, using inductive thematic analysis. Thematic analysis seek for patterns and repetition. I identify them and teach about main topics. The process of thematic analysis is a long process, including identifying categories. Then from the categories, I'm extracting main themes from them. So what I found regarding the student perspective, the first theme that I found that the generative AI is an assistive technology or assistive actor that amplify or improve existing capability of the student. The student says that it is a significant actor that helps professional tasks, increases existing capabilities, allow for more efficient work or improve product. However, I will show in the next theme that it is not an actor that replaces the student basic capabilities that are lacking. This is the first tip. For example, Aviv tells me that I use AI for color correction for all technical process. Using AI in my study allow me to focus on the art itself. The art is the human. This is a tool that I'm using without being too busy with technical tasks. So this is the first theme. The second theme is the opposite. There are students that says that generative AI is a compensatory technology or actor. It replaces missing students' capabilities, such as the ability to deeply understand complex tasks, the ability to articulate, formulate, and even produce content. And this situation leads to a perception of personal incompetence and mental degradation. For example, Marianne says, I read it and I don't understand anything, nothing. And it's written in Hebrew, but I don't understand the point. It's a text from the 17th century and I don't understand. So I put it into AI and it tells me, here he meant this, here he meant that. It has abilities beyond mine. That means that he replaces her. Between these two teams, there is the third team, the intermediate use, and that causes internal conflicts. The student feel that there is internal conflicts. These are the cases the students use Gen AI that are somewhere between assistance and compensation. Our students who have moved between these two approaches. Use it, it is a use, it is a tool, or it will replace me. This use is presented as internal conflict over legitimacy and implication for the student. For example, Mayan says, on the one hand, it increases motivation, but on the other hand, it always takes me to the same place, that it degenerates me a little. If I don't have the AI, I'm sure my motivation would be lower because I think everything would be harder for me. So she's between use it as a tool or use it as a replace of mine. Or it, for example, said, I was supposed to write a script. It was very, very difficult for me. So I took the general idea that I had, and I used all kinds of AI program. I asked each of them, let's turn it into interesting documentary film. Regarding their faculty perspective, the main theme regarding the faculty is they talk about proper control. You need to proper control this tool, this actor. They're talking about balance between technical use or integration and this actor, the Gen AI, implication on human creativity. That's what they call the spirit. And they think about, but when they talk about the spirit or creativity, they talk about the human. And they see the human as the one that should be on top of everything. And AI should be only a tool and not something else. For example, Einat says, I also use AI for limited liability. Its products are good for me in terms of their efficiency, but not in terms of their spirit. Again, spirit is the human. This is technology that only helps me, but the human is very important. When I teach a script and sometimes students present me with a script that they seem to have worked on with AI, I feel that there is no spirit in it because the human is very important. We can't neglect it. Yossi also says, you need to know how to harness things correctly, not misuse them, and see how a person imagination can be used with a new technology. That means you can produce it, you can combine it together, but you need to proper control it. Or Noam says, I teach how to distinguish between when it's a tool and when it does the work for you. So you have no control over it. When you are its slave and when it works for you, this difference between just creating content or creating your own art. Again, art is human. This is only a tool. Bringing something that is yours different from anything else. So if in conclusion, if I want to conclude, I can draw an axis between an integration spectrum model in this academic field. When on the one side, it is the non-use, the technical fear. On the other side, is the complete assimilation, a total integration. And in the middle, there is the articulation, the integration. And my findings are here in the middle. The faculty perspective, we saw that they talk about proper control, balance between technical use and creativity. And regarding the student perspective is that on the one hand, there is also a small axis here between assisting technology, assisting actor, and compensating technology. Regarding compensating technology, there is the student, the integrative student, that talk about mental degradation or fear of skill loss. And regarding assimilating technology, these are the pragmatic student, pragmatic users that efficiently use it efficiently with legitimate boundaries and provide confidence. And if we see the faculty and the student perspective together, we can see that they are both refusing to see generative AI as an equal and influential actor, but rather as an object, still an object for help, only for help. For it is not human, it is unhuman, and this should be like this. Thank you for your attention.
Any question?